August the 3rd, 2024. Guys, you're looking at satellite images over the Gulf of Mexico. This is, it's now 2:21 p.m. The reports come out much later than the actual images that we're seeing, but I'll show you the track, and again, slightly moving to the west. This thing's going to be over open water now for the next day and a half or so, and it's going to be very strong when it comes in as far as a tropical storm. It's going to be on the edge of, according to the predictions, a Category 1. We'll see, because there's a lot of heat in the Gulf. This thing is now stepping into the Gulf Stream as it exits out into the Atlantic through the Florida Straits. Florida, you're starting to get a lot of storms coming in. I was looking at a Key West cam earlier, and it's getting very windy down there. We'll take a look at that. Let's look at the infrared for a moment. You know, it looks like it's starting to wrap itself pretty good in a lot of rain and a lot of storms there. So it's mainly going to be a rain event for the next few hours. In Florida, you're getting your share already along through here. And it came across the Keys. Just these outer bands were strong, getting 25-mile-per-hour winds an hour ago there. You've got a little bit of moisture coming in here. Now, this system, you see it is moving down like this, and it's going to put a steering current on this. Now, if it continues to get a little further out in the Gulf, this will still affect it and make it cut back to the right. Now, this is just slightly different. Your ground clouds are white. Your taller clouds are this powder blue. And you can see, again, a very good illustration here for what we're dealing with. This thing's going to get cranked up, guys. I would go ahead and put some more warnings out, I think. But right now, most of the Gulf is in a tropical storm warning. We'll take a look at the National Weather Service. They have that information. But let me go and let's look at the latest tracking information. Now, remember, we're probably about 50 miles off the coast of Florida in this last image. Now, we've got another report coming up at 5, and I'm sure it's going to change slightly, but this is the latest tracking. Now, again, the information coming in on the tracking is a little bit behind what you're seeing. They're saying that at 2 o'clock that the storm was here, and we know it's about 50 miles out. But we'll just start here and make it to where we can see some type of line. We'll go from here to here. This is the newest information, again, coming into Florida, just probably 30 or 40 miles further to the west than before. Check this out right there. Now, when we get into this area, that's when it's going to be very fast. They're already talking about very high gusts, 70 knots and things like that. So let me zoom in here, guys, just to let you know we were coming in a little earlier down in the video before this, and we're crossing highway or Interstate 10 back in this area. But, guys, these are going to change. Do not depend on this very much as far as the exact place, because by the time it gets here, it could very well be over where the Canadian model is putting it right here, okay? But this is the best we have right now. They will give us new numbers that I can put into a chart. Let me get this back up. And we'll go from there with that. But let's take a look at some of the webcams out on Key West. Now, this is the most southern point of the continental U.S. You've seen it before in our videos. People are lining up in the rain and the wind there to take pictures. That's kind of a big thing. Get your selfies or get somebody to take them. But a lot of times that's a sandbar if the weather's calm, right behind the guy standing against the wall, and very shallow through there. But the wind is picking up, but it looks like the tide may be out. We'll just have to wait and see. But it's getting very close to this area. Now, it's going to pass, if you're looking at this camera, to your right. But you're sticking out there, guys, and we're going to take a look at a couple of other images from down there. Now, this is called the Reach Resort in Key West itself. The storm is back out in this area right here, guys, the very top. Winds coming from it looks like from the south, because this is in the dangerous quadrant. Not that I'm saying it's going to hit you right there, but you're in that counterclockwise north to south side of the storm. It's called the northeast quadrant, and that's why you're getting the winds from this area. Now, it looks a little later than it is. That's because you got so much cloud cover. This is the College of the Florida Keys. Kind of sounds like a cool place to go to school, huh, guys? Never been this far down. I've been down into Boca Raton, just north of Miami, I think, but never this far south. I know a lot of people that have, and people have sailed from Florida down here and back, and quite an adventure from what I hear. But anyway, here's what we got. Again, it appears to be like 7:30 or something, guys. We're in much earlier in the afternoon, but you can see the height of the clouds. This gives a slightly different angle because see how the clouds are coming from right to left here. If you kind of look in the back, you can see. And guys, this is not going to be a fun night by any means because it's going to go up the coast, and the right side of the storm is going to skate up that the western side of Florida. It's not going to be right on it, but that's where the weather is going to be coming from. Let's take a look at the tracking. This is from Fox and Sky Tower down in Tampa. They're showing here, again, this is the 2 p.m. update, which would have been an hour and a half ago. It's 2:32 here Central Time, so we're an hour behind. But it's much further offshore than that. It's probably in the center of the Florida Pass right there. Check that, or the Florida Straits. And other than that, this is very close. I think, though, we're going to have to watch this edge of the yellow cone, and that could change. But Monday, 8 a.m., waking up to more than likely a Category 1. It's saying 70-mile-per-hour tropical storm now. The gusts will be up into the Cat 1 category, like I said, and that's the dangerous part. That's the rip, or the roof rippers. You know, it takes everything down, trees, and or those big gusts. I think because it's August and the heat and the situation, it's going to be, it's going to surprise a few people. They're saying now, but again, an hour and a half ago, 35-mile-per-hour winds moving west-northwest at 15 miles per hour. And that's pretty right. Again, tracking looks good here, maybe slightly to the left, but at 5 p.m. we'll get a very good look at the satellite images and the new information that we can use to track it ourselves. Now, they updated this 34 minutes ago at 3 p.m. Eastern, and everybody's pretty much in line here. You got the Canadian model is still drifting to the left. It was coming in right on the point right there, but it's now a little further left. Most of them are. The Navy model is kind of going up through the center, and now it's staying ashore all the way up through, it looks like, to around Washington, D.C. Canadian model brings it up through here and out through Raleigh. And there's not much change in this particular graph here. In the blue, you have tropical storm warnings. They're up all along here, even ashore. Notice that. Tropical storm watches in the yellow. The pink is hurricane watches right through this area. But guys, again, this is about 30 minutes ago. Don't let the storm fool you. It may get a little further out, and one of the ways it can fool you is it starts to track this way, and suddenly it starts making contact with the shore, with the northeast quadrant of the storm, the top of it, and it starts to make a quick turn to the right. That's just some of the tricks that we've seen happen before. Now looking, you've got tropical storm warnings filling up the entire eastern side of the Gulf of Mexico, almost all the way from Cuba up to Florida. Then you got some gale warnings, some hurricane watches, and this is all heat warnings. You got thunderstorm watches and warnings through here, and more of the heat back into the northwest. So one thing about it, it's going to bring some rain, which we're already seeing on radar, and maybe some cooling winds, at least for a couple of days, right? Now, this radar coming out of South Florida gives you a pretty good idea of what's going on there. Fort Myers here, Naples, Everglades City, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and here are the Keys here. Marathon's out here, the Dry Tortugas here. You're getting kind of mixed showers and everything. You're lucky because the original tracking starting yesterday morning was looking like the center may come a lot closer to you, but maybe you can use some of this rain. And here we have the U.S. Navy model, NavGem, coming in right there in that area, strengthening before it does. Notice it starts to get darker blue in the core of it. That's an increase in, or decrease in pressure, guys, dropping pressure right there. and that's as far as the Navy takes it out. Looks like a good bit of rain is going to make it through these states right here. Maybe we'll get some here. We need it. I'm not going to complain about any rain this summer at all. We haven't had any in 3 or 4 days now. It's been kind of dry, extremely hot. Right now it's 111 with the heat indexes, guys. But yesterday it was 118. And here we have the Canadian model, pretty close. It's again getting more to the left, to the west. You notice that. We'll let it play through again. Something else I want to point out, there's something behind it right here after it comes ashore. Now, this is a few days out, but right here we are on the 4th. That's tomorrow. And you'll see it as I step it through right there, again, to the left of the point in the central part of the Florida Panhandle. But I want you to pay attention. I'm going to let it go into full speed. Notice how long it just stops right here over Alabama and Georgia. There it is. Don't know quite what to do. Dipping down, coming back, finally leaving out. So you're going to get some rain, guys, and it also shows this secondary storm coming through. Something coming out of the Caribbean trying to form here, making it across the Yucatan. Right there, going into Mexico. We'll see how the patterns go for the next few days. Again, that's kind of a long-term out. But as we get through the storm we're watching now, which is going to be Debbie, we'll pay a little more attention to that. But we are in August, guys. It ends technically November 30th, I think, or 31st, the end of November. But guys, we're watching this. You watch it. Pay very close attention to your local information from wherever you're at along the Florida or any other coast in the southeast. Pay attention to those warnings of floods and power outages, things like that. Make sure you have, like I said, all of your everything charged up. You don't want to have a lot of lawn chairs out on the patio or barbecue grills. We always see those in the hurricane videos flying through the air, and they could do a lot of damage. So be aware of all of that. Of course, make sure your pets are secure. We're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.